Tuesday, not Monday, February 17th, and I'd like to ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Barnett.
Here.
Julia Dalrymple here. Matt Pfeiffer.
Here.
Mike Flood is absent with notice. Carrie Hilgendorf.
Here.
Ron Carson.
Here.
And Jack LaLitta.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you all for joining us. If you could silence your electronics, I try to keep things on the screen of interest that we're looking at. At this time, we will ask all of you to stand for the invocation led tonight by Trustee Lovett and the pledge led by the Hydra Dragons, right after the invocation. No pressure.
Heavenly Father, as we gather tonight, we are reminded that leadership is not about position, but about service. Thank you for the opportunity to represent and support the residents of this township. Help us to approach our responsibilities with humility, sincerity, and a true desire to do what is right. May we never lose sight of the fact that our decisions impact families, neighborhoods, and the future of this community. Give us hearts that seek the common good and minds that remain focused on fairness and integrity. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, friends, for letting me call on you, even though we didn't tell you that. We have some very special guests here tonight. Sorry. First, I have to. No, we'll start with our special guests. The Hydra Dragons are here. What are you guys here for? Come to the podium. Will you come talk and tell us what you're up to? Yes. Tell us who you are and what you're up to and why it's important to every person that lives in Orion Township. I'm going to put some stuff on the screen to show you while you're talking.
All right. Hello, everyone. We are here to talk about our middle school robotics team, the Hydra Dragons. We are a team made up of students from all 3 middle schools here in Lake Orion. This year, we have 4 students from Walden and 11 students from Oakview. So basically, we are proof that middle schoolers can actually work together.
So we kicked off our season in early September with all 4 Lake Orion middle schools combining and meeting up together to start brainstorming. Our brainstorming went like, oh, what if we added this to our robot, but then what if we added that? We should add flamethrowers. Spoiler, we did not add flamethrowers. And then we broke off into our own teams and started brainstorming. But then we realized we only had 6 weeks, but for a middle school life, that's like watching a movie on fast forward with no pause button.
Our first competition was in Heartland, Michigan, and guess what? We won! Not only that, but we finished with a world record and we were ranked top 5 in the world. So yeah, no big deal, just casually being amazing. That win earned us a ticket to Southeast States Championship, and after celebrating for approximately 5 minutes, we got right back to work making improvements. Our second competition was in Novi, Michigan. We won that one too, but even then, we still knew we could improve on our robot even more. Because in robotics, you're never really done, kind of like homework.
Before states, we invited other top Michigan teams like the Giggle Pickles from Ferndale and the Robo Wolves from Clarkston to practice with us. Yes, the Giggle Pickles is a real team name. Robotics is the only sport where you can lose to someone called the Giggle Pickles and still feel proud. Practicing together really paid off. At states, we partnered with the Giggle Pickles to form the Unstoppable Alliance Giggle Dragons, and together we won Southeast States. But we didn't stop there. We also won the highest and most prestigious judged award, the Inspire Award.
Well now, if you're wondering what the Inspire Award is, it's if you have a strong robot, a good engineering portfolio, and community hours, and lastly but not least, gracious professionalism. Gracious professionalism is when you're respectful to other teams, but also kind. For example, let's say they're missing a spare part, but you have it. You'd give it to them. If you win, you'd still be respectful to them, and that's what robotics is all about. But sometimes for middle schoolers, that can be hard, and we persevered through that and did it.
Our team also does a lot outside of competitions. Combined, we put over 645 hours of outreach. This summer, we volunteered at Forgotten Harvest, handing out food to people in need. We organized our own food drive by placing flyers, not fires, on doors in the Keenington neighborhoods, then coming back the next week to pick up donations. We delivered everything to the village food pantry. We also organized a book drive where we handed out hundreds of books to the Family Fun Fest with the Orion Area Youth Assistance and installed a little library at the Cirque. So we're not just building robots, but we're building a community too.
Now we are preparing to head to the first Tech Challenge World Championship in Houston, Texas. We are working hard to raise $30,000 to replace robot parts, make final improvements, cover travel expenses, and continue supporting STEM events at elementary schools. We're raising that money by asking local businesses for sponsorships and also hosting fundraisers like Dine to Donates at places like Peataway on March 5th and having bigger events like at Topgolf on March 8th. It's fundraising for robotics, Topgolf style. So if you like food, fun, hitting things really far or really short, we've got you covered.
Thank you for your time in supporting the Lake Orion Hydro Dragons. Stay tuned in for next year, and maybe we'll add flamethrowers. Just kidding, probably. Thank you.
Wow. That was amazing. Anybody want to run for township board? Because you guys are incredible. Thank you for all you do. I've had the chance to visit with these guys over the years, and you guys are going to Houston. Houston, we have a problem. Hydro Dragons are incoming? No, I don't know. Sorry. Board members, do you have any questions for the Hydro Dragons?
I just want to say, I've seen a lot of people have come up here and done their presentations. That's the best one I've seen in my time here.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you guys, I love the add-on of the community work. The presentation off the charts and a lot of comedy mixed in, which I loved. But the fact that you guys put your community so first and really try to make a difference and do make a difference is really impressive. Thank you for being an example for the fellow middle schoolers. And wow, keep going. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Hopefully it's a flamethrower.
Yeah.
We're all kind.
But
we're all
you have
kind
to
of
do
banking on it.
do us one favor, please, because we have millions of people that watch us on TV at home. Would you please introduce yourselves? And go to the microphone. You have to say your name and what school you go to, please.
My name is Carter, and I go to Oakview.
My name's Augusta Azevedo, and I go to Oakview too.
I also go to Oakview, and my name is Natalie.
Well, thank you, Carter, Augusta, and Natalie. And I need you to do me a favor. Don't go anywhere real far. Because first of all, we always do good news at the beginning of our meetings. And once a month, we take a minute or two to recognize some of our brightest and best citizens. So we got to recognize you. But there's one more person here that we want to recognize. So let's do this. How about Natalie? Underneath there's a, pull out that plaque and read what it says on it.
Certificate of Appreciation. The Charter Township of Orion gratefully expresses its appreciation to Megan Klein-Exel for her leadership of Cub Scouts Pack 59 and dedication to the community, including volunteering at Orion Oaks Elementary in the PTO and coaching the state championship Lake Orion Hydro Dragons robotics team. Citizen of the Month Award presented the 17th day of February in the year 2026.
There we go. Yay. All right, so please come up here. We're going to take a picture. And and if you want to bring your family and definitely the Hydro Dragons, but come on up because the board will get up here because you're going to be on our wall of fame. Thank you for letting us recognize you / embarrass you.
Come on up.
Surprise!
Yeah.
It's the way we do things.
Yeah.
If we told you, you would never come.
Yes, the whole team.
Everybody.
And if you're mad, is Carrie here? Carrie?
You mad at her?
Which phone should we do first?
Look at Jim first, and then we'll go to Roman, and then Sam. All right, now Sam. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Megan, congratulations. So I'm just going to tell you, if you watch our meetings regular, like lots of you hopefully do, we do take a few minutes each month to recognize some people that are doing outstanding things. And I know that if we gave Megan the microphone, she would say other people deserve the credit, but we're recognizing her because she is one of our community's most passionately involved volunteers, and often quietly making an impact across the schools or church, community organizations. Devoted mom of 3. She's invested in everything her family does, from leading the Scouts Pack 59, which last month led us in the pledge, and we got to teach them about government, to the Hydro Dragons, to kindergarten activities, supporting dance, Forgotten Harvest, Village Food Pantry, and just helping raise amazing community citizens. So we're so grateful for you and the work you do on our youth and your friends and the people also around you, because I know you want to give, I'm sure, give them credit as well. So one more round of applause. Congratulations. And you are now on our Wall of Fame. And Hydro Dragons, we want to see you guys bring home some hardware. How about that? That's awesome. So I'm going to put that up on the screen one more time. And coaches, moms, can you guys please send my office some of the things that they mentioned so that we can try to promote that as well. Some of your fundraising activities and things, so we can put that out on the socials. But we will all be cheering, praying, sending good vibes April 29th to May 2nd while you guys are in Houston. That's pretty awesome. So congratulations again, and thank you for being here. And I agree with what Mr. Carson said. Probably one of the best presentations I've ever heard in 13 years sitting up here. So well done, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Next, I'd hate to have to follow that, Mr. Adam. Actually, one more employee recognition. I just want to mention this at the top while we're sharing good news. It will be in our consent agenda, but one of our longtime employees is going to be retiring. Renee Omlet, if you ever have been to the old senior center, the old Orion Center, or now the rec center, you have certainly seen Renee. She has been with us for over 30 years, and she's retiring. So congratulations to Renee. If you know her, please tell her congrats. She will be retiring in the next month and a half, but we wanted to just give her a shout out at the beginning of the meeting. All right, next item is Mr. Adam Wright from Midwest Strategy, who's here to give us we do have 2 proclamations. I'm not going to read them, but come on forward, Adam. In your agenda, and you'll be able to see them on our website, there's 2 proclamations tonight, one for our Monarch Pledge and one celebrating Arbor Day. Thank you, Hydro Dragons.
Thank you, guys.
And congratulations, Megan. All right, Mr. Adam Wright from Midwest Strategy, our Lansing government relations expertise. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Glad to be here. Super glad to follow the Hydro Dragons. I mean, gosh, I've seen worse presentations in front of Senate and House subcommittees, so that was great. And I also like the just casually being amazing. I'm going to use that. That's good. Glad to be here. Wanted to give you an update on what's going on in Lansing. We had a consensus revenue estimating conference in January. Wasn't the best news. Not super exciting stuff. But this current fiscal year we're in, we expect, the economists in Michigan and our nonpartisan folks have said they expect and agreed to about a $780 million decline in the current fiscal year. Next year, in fiscal year 27, the budget that we'll be working on this year, they expect a decline of $1.1 billion. That is due to some of the road funding package tax changes that they've done, the tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And those tax changes have caused about $700 million of the $1.1 billion decline. And then $400 million of it is just flattening of the economy, and there's lower revenues for business taxes. After that glorious news we received in the Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference, the governor did present her budget on February 11th, and I'll get into a little bit more of that later. But legislatively directed spending items, we have 2 items in, again, this year. This process that Orion Township has gone through in the past, especially last year, is very similar to this year. The difference is that there was a law passed that requires this new transparency for any sort of legislatively directed spending items. And so Supervisor Barnett was able to come to Lansing and testify. It'll be a very similar process this year. It's just all of that is now prescribed by law. To the next slide. In the governor's budget presentation that she did last week, she did talk and then put out her full budget in regards to revenue sharing. So constitutional revenue sharing, the current year projection is they'll get in enough revenue to bring in a 1.07 billion. The governor, in her recommendation, thinks there'll be 1.05 billion for next fiscal year. So you see there's a backwards trend for revenues that come in for constitutional. Statutory revenue sharing is projected to be flat for cities, villages, and townships for next year. Public safety revenue sharing is going to be consistent, $50 million. That was new in last year's budget and is going to be consistent this year and next year. Their intent was to run that for 3 years, and then we'll have to have continued conversations with the new legislature about whether or not that $50 million stays in. Next is property tax reform. It's something that you've probably been hearing a lot about. I know the Speaker of the House of Representatives has been talking a lot about doing property tax reform. So what does that look like? What can they do? If they want to amend Proposal A, or if they want to increase the sales tax to backfill revenue from amending Proposal A, those are constitutional options that they have to go to the voters for. So the legislature would have to vote in both chambers to send that to the ballot for the people of Michigan to decide if they want to amend Proposal A somehow or increase the sales tax. And so we haven't seen a specific proposal from the House of Representatives, but that's something they've hinted at doing something so there would be some sort of property tax relief. That has a high bar in the legislature to get it on the ballot. I'm not certain that would actually make it to the ballot, but it's something I think they will have a conversation about. Statutory options, meaning what can they pass as a legislature and have the governor sign. Some of the things we've heard about are, I always call it the pop-up tax. You guys here call it the uncapping of property when somebody sells their house. What they want to do potentially is eliminate that pop-up tax or the uncapping when you sell your house. They want to either eliminate it for first-time home buyers and seniors, or potentially half the current pop-up tax. So those are things that we've seen House Republicans kicking around and talking about, but no bills yet introduced or even a press conference on them to tell us what they're going to do. The governor recently put out a plan of her own to help senior citizens with their property taxes, and this would be a property tax credit to senior citizens up to 10%. I think it could be about $350 max for somebody, but it costs the state $90 million to do that. Excuse me. And as we know, with declining revenues, that could be a tall order. This proposal, as a local government standpoint, shouldn't penalize local government because the state is going to pay for it, so local governments wouldn't have to pay for that. The Senate also has a plan. Senator Sarah Anthony, who is the appropriations chair, has an expansion of the homestead property tax credit that she has put forward and like to expand that, make it much larger so it encompasses more families in Michigan. And again, nothing that costs local governments money. So obviously, if there's something that we're looking at and we want to come to a consensus, anything that we can work on that doesn't cost local governments revenue so that you guys can still continue to operate is the direction that we will likely go. Okay, beyond that, the governor is going to give her final State of the State address next week. We will see, we saw her budget priorities last week, and then next week we'll see what she wants to do beyond budget and policy. I know two of the areas that overlap with policy and budget is literacy. She's talked about that a lot. We have great strides we need to make in Michigan, and so I know she wants to invest in the budget about $650 million of the school aid fund for literacy efforts, so I think you'll hear a lot about that. Today, it's funny that I'm here because housing legislation, I planned on talking about it, and they had a press conference today to finally lift the veil of secrecy on what the housing plan is from the legislature. And it's local preemption. It's what we expected. It's what they had introduced last term. It's basically the legislature saying, we know better how to zone than you do here in Orion Township. It's what they've introduced is not good. It doesn't allow you to be able to decide what is best for your community and how best to zone to make your community what you want it to be. So this is something we're just getting information on. I told the supervisor after this I have a meeting with some other local government folks this evening to have additional conversations about this housing legislation package. One of the things that they said in the press conference today is they're saying that before a board is purchased or a nail is purchased for a house, that there's $94,000 that's a cost to a home because of regulation. I don't see it, right? So we're going to look with a lot of local governments and really try to understand where that cost is. And this is where home builders talk about it. Was able to send this to the supervisor. And a lot of these things, I mean, if you look in the parentheses, or it's very small, it'll say, for things that go beyond the ordinary. Well, how are you able to understand that and actually put a number to that? And these are a lot of national figures and really don't focus on Michigan. So one of the questions I think that local government needs to ask all legislators is that if you pass local preemption, how much does that save somebody to build a house? My guess is probably not very much. Because when you ask developers and you ask people that are builders, what's their biggest obstacle? Right now, it's access to capital, it's interest rates, it's some of the financial things. Insurance costs, I know, are another big one. So before in the Regulatory Reform Committee, when the chair asked this committee, or asked the people that testified what their biggest obstacle was, not one of them said local regulation. So it is, this is something we're going to keep monitoring. We'll keep Supervisor and Sam up to date. But this is one thing that you'll see local government organizations, MML, MTA, SEMCOG really push back on. Next is the Disabled Veterans Property Tax Exemption Fix. These bills have been drafted. It's about $100 million total price tag for the state of Michigan. Written into the legislation is a phased-in period over 5 years. So we expect that these will be introduced within a couple of months, and local government organizations will push them. And the goal is to get local governments funded again, and for the state to take over this responsibility, which they should have had in the first place. Next, there's water affordability legislation that we've talked about before, but wanted to let you know it's introduced in the House now. There's already a package in the Senate. They had a hearing on it. If it is able to get out of the Senate, which I'm not certain that it will be able to, we've been told that it's dead on arrival in the House of Representatives. And the last slide is Julia's favorite one, because it is election year in Michigan. And the governor, secretary of state, attorney general, U.S. Senate, U.S. House of Representatives, state Senate and state House are all up for re-election. So it's going to be a lot of fun in Lansing. We'll see a lot of major policy initiatives in Q1 and maybe half of Q2. And then after filing deadline, people get a little nervous about being pretty bold because they have to put their name on the ballot. But Orion Township will have a new state representative because, as you know, Representative Steele is running for the Senate. So whoever gets that position, we'll make sure that, you'll have a good relationship with them. We'll make sure that we have a good relationship as well so that we can do all we can for Orion Township. There are also ballot initiatives that could be on the ballot. There's a voter ID ballot initiative that has claimed that they have enough signatures to get on the ballot. So we will see when they turn those in. There's a Mop Up Michigan one that claims to want to take some money out of politics. That's the MOP, money out of politics. It's aimed at some of the utilities and their spending on legislators. We've heard ranked choice voting will not get enough signatures to make it on a ballot. And Axe My Tax does not seem like they have the organization to be able to get this on the ballot. Had an opportunity to talk to Clerk Dalrymple beforehand. I know one of the issues that with a lot of the new election law changes that have come into the state, there's costs for election equipment upgrades. The governor did include about $43 million in her budget. We spoke with the Senate Appropriations Chair. She seems on board if the governor's office is truly going to be supportive. It'll be the House that will need to work on to get support for that funding. It's about $15,000 per precinct, so not a small amount for local government to have to come up with. So that is, I wish the Hydra Dragons were still here to come and follow up for all the great news I got to bring you today. But happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that presentation and meeting with our directors today and the work your team does for us. 6 of us will be in Midwest Strategy's office next Wednesday for the State of the State address because we're going to be in Lansing for Risk Management Conference, and we're going to scoot over there and participate in that. So thank you for hosting us. Any questions does anyone have for Adam? No one? Thank you. Keep squeezing them. Best you
We'll
can.
do.
Thank you.
And add flamethrower to your next.
I know, right?
Just casually being awesome.
I know, exactly. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. All right, next item on tonight's agenda is public comment. Approval of bills. Skipping right over that. I'm gone for a minute, and I mixed up the order. The board run is in your packet tonight for your approval. Is there any questions or a motion to approve the bills?
Move to approve bills, invoices in a total of $1,683,313.50. Payroll of $632,317.01 for a total of $2,315,630.51.
Support.
Thank you.
Moved by the birthday girl. Happy birthday. And supported by Mr. Carson. Sorry, John, not as exciting to say your name tonight. Is there any comments or questions from board members? Any public comment on the bill run? Seeing no one run forward, entertain a roll call vote on the bills.
Carson.
Yes.
Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Ogendorf.
Yes.
Barnett.
Yes.
Lovett.
Yes.
Dalrymple. Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Next item on tonight's agenda is now public comment. The board does not respond, and we ask you to direct your comments to me. Keep them to 3 minutes or less. If you hear about something on the agenda, hold your comments till we get to that point in the meeting. Would anyone like to give public comment at this time?
Hello, my name is Roman Gasky. I live at 3301 Poplar Street, apartment 1209, and I'm running for state representative to succeed Representative Steele in the 54th District, which includes all of Orion Township. I want to comment on what the spokesman from Midwest Strategy just said about local preemption. This is a very serious issue, and I know that Supervisor Barnett and the board understand the stakes of this. To the people watching at home, I would ask, who do you want making your zoning decisions, Lansing or your local board? I feel like that's a pretty clear answer. Orion Township has about 40,000 residents. You have a lot better shot being heard by a board who has 40,000 constituents than the state, who has over 10 million constituents. And this is an issue where there are real divisions in this race. The current Democrat candidate has started an organization called Yes in My Backyard, Oakland County. although I'd really call it Yes in Your Backyard, which wants to eliminate single-family zoning. This is right in line with this local preemption idea, this idea that the state knows best. We do need to increase housing supply. There's no question about that. And I think given the development that's happening in our community, Supervisor Barnett and the board understands that. The question is what we do to increase housing supply. Local preemption is not the answer. We need partnership, not local preemption. So I want to speak strongly against this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to give public comment at this time? We will close public comment, and we will bring it up to the board. Approval of tonight's agenda. There's a walk-on item, which we are trying not to do, but sometimes we cannot prevent it. Tonight, I'd like to add as item 10C, which is an agreement with the Pareto Captive. This is our health insurance pool. I'd like to add that to 10C. Other than that, I have no other amendments. I'd entertain a motion, or if there are other changes, please chime in now. Mr. Pfeiffer.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Or the total agenda, the regular agenda.
I'm sorry, yes, I apologize.
Approving the regular agenda, you're supporting approving the regular agenda with the addition of 10C. Moved by Pfeiffer, supported by Carson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That is our plan for this evening. The next item is our consent agenda. These items A through L will be approved with one vote. They are as follows: our minutes from our February 2nd meeting, 2 items from the fire department. It's our radio system user agreement with the county, our hold harmless training, agreement with Aramark for refreshment services, accepting a notice of retirement for Ms. Renee Amla, which we referenced at the beginning of the meeting, approving a Miller Road sanitary sewer pump station rehabilitation, cross-connection inspector contract for 2026, our water reliability study and general plan update, our financial policies coming from the Budget and Procurement Office, solicitation request for power home remodeling. We're going to come out of the winter, and we'll get lots of those, I think. Awarding the bid for the Recreation Center flooring in the former cafe, and approving the escrow agreement with Paint Creek Trail and the Mosheri Lake Orion. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Supported, moved by Dalrymple, supported by the birthday girl, Hilgendorf. I mean, you're going to get it multiple times tonight here. Couple comments for me. Just, again, congrats to Renee on 30 years of service to our residents. That's incredible. Item I, thank you to our Budget and Procurement Director. We are in the process, and namely Ashley is in moving our budget to a GFOA budget, Government Finance Officers Association budget, which there are less than 20 communities in the entire state of over 1,700 municipalities that have a GFOA budget. It's much easier for residents to follow along and read and understand where their tax dollars are going, so we're really excited about that. This is one of the requirements that we need to do, so those policies are in here. And then just thanks to Mr. Watley and his team, and also thanks to Mr. Pfeiffer for lending his professional expertise on the flooring, that we will be reactivating the former cafe space at the rec center for a large meeting space, and we need flooring to do that. And so that's in here as well. Those are my couple comments. Are there any other comments or questions from any board member? Ms. Hilgendorf.
A couple of things. I also wanted to thank Ashley Coyle on her work for the financial policies that are in item I. Another thing for item H, the water reliability study. Just a couple of things I'd like to confirm first with our public services director. For the, I assume based on the total that was listed in the budget that we're wanting to have the additional recommended piece done, the extended period simulation modeling.
Yes.
And then the other thing I'd like to confirm with our engineer, Jim, I just want to make sure that, is there just one underlying assumption in this that the one connection point that's mentioned on page 2 of this, that the underlying assumption is that there's not going to be any issue with the water that is, received from that end. Like, this is only studying things within the township and not things outside of the township that may affect it, correct?
That's correct. Now, when you do the simulations, though, especially the extended period simulations, you're analyzing all the conditions that are basically at the feed, so the supplier's conditions that they also provide you. So it's not like you're analyzing things outside, but you are analyzing what the provider can provide you from pressures, flows, given the times of year, the other demands on their overall system. So it's a better indication of real-life performance. It's just a lot more effort, and we don't recommend it all the time, but in this particular case, we've got several PRVs in our system that are very finicky, and so the extended simulation allows us to analyze how those PRVs perform under a wide variety of conditions that we experience in real life over the course of a summer period. So that's why we recommend it at this time, because we're just having issues with them.
And a PRV, for those of us who didn't go to engineering school, is?
It's a pressure reducing valve. So to do a quick general, if I may, is that, so the township is broken up into two pressure districts. So what's called a high pressure district is essentially on the south end of the community where it's higher elevation. And so if you provide too much pressure to this part of the community that's of higher elevation, as it goes downhill, that pressure gets extremely high. So in order to reduce it, we have to put PRVs in the system that reduce that pressure so that the folks at the bottom of the hill don't experience, say, 150 pounds of pressure. They need to experience something more reasonable when you turn on their faucet. So the system has about 6 of them, and they all interact, and they get finicky under certain conditions that we experience from our provider, because the provider pressure can vary greatly from, say, 60 pounds of pressure up to over 100 at some time. So it causes a lot of sort of reactions in the system that we try to get ahead of as we analyze it and try to operate it.
That's a really good explanation, which we don't talk about much at these meetings, but, we need to keep Kyle's happy where his fire hoses can provide the right amount of water, which we've had experienced that, issues with that in the past, in parts of the community, which, those have been resolved. But we also can't have people's, bathroom, basements, bathroom, faucets like exploding.
Washers.
Yeah, it's a very interesting science, and the more you look into it, the more interesting it becomes. You have your hand up? Yeah.
Not related to water, but still on the consent agenda. Thank you to our Budget and Procurement Director, Ashley Coyle, for renegotiating the agreement with our refreshment services, basically coffees and such, and reducing our commitment in half with a little renegotiation. So we're looking at ways to make cuts, and Ashley went at it and came back with a substantial cut to that program. So thank you, Ashley.
Any other comments from board members? Julia?
Looking at the item with the escrow agreement with the Paint Creek Trail and Mosherry, I just want to say a big thank you to both of those groups. I sit on the Paint Creek Trail Committee, and they want to, Mosherry in this new development would really like to add some pedestrian access to the Paint Creek Trail right through the development. So looking through how are we going to make that happen? They need water, they need sewer. That access and working together, I think, is just another great example of our community coming together to be able to improve things here in our community. So thank you to both of them for working so hard on that.
Yep. And also with that development, not in this agreement, but separate, just a reminder that there will be a significant contribution to the Veterans Memorial as well. So that developer has been generous in the township and the village. The last thing I'll just make a note, any other board comments? I'll just say, I'm excited to share that you can see on the screen still the North Oakland County Water Authority. Those are the communities of the city of Pontiac, city of Auburn Hills, city of Rochester Hills, and Orion Township, which when we first established the Water Authority 12 or 13 years ago-ish, I think we were saving about $1 million a year to our residents, roughly. That's what I remember. Could be wrong. Anyway. Significant savings. Don't quote me on the number. by just basically utilizing, Pontiac had excess storage, and when we take water, and obviously that, when we built our water tower, that's the same time. But it really is a tribute, to the great work that Bill Bascow does and our friends and partners at OHM. And I'm excited that, with the new mayor, in Pontiac, we are all meeting, all the electeds are meeting for the first time in, I think, a decade on Thursday. So Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills, Pontiac, and myself will have our chief elected officials and our appointed officials meeting on Thursday to not just talk about this, but other ways we can support each other, as neighbors. So, good news there as well. Any other comments or questions on the consent agenda? Any public comment on any of these items? They will all be approved with one vote. Roll call. Sorry, Mr. Watley.
I just wanted to say about Renee, I've worked with her for 14 years, and she has been a tremendous asset to the community. She's been around for 30 years, working for the township. The seniors absolutely adore her. She will be missed, and we'll have a party for her, probably during the day, because all of our seniors are nonstop asking about it. They want to play cards and have a good time. So anyways, she'll be missed. Onward to better things.
Thank you, Aaron, for that. All right. Roll call vote, please, on the consent agenda.
Lovett.
Yes.
Ogendorf.
Yes.
Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Dalrymple, yes. Barnett.
Yes.
And Carson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Next item is 10A, our pending business. We have 3 items tonight. The first item is a poverty exemption resolution, and I want to thank Treasurer Pfeiffer for working on this, and our friends at AAS, our new assessing partner. And I'm just going to turn this over to Mr. Pfeiffer to kind of give an overview, even though hopefully the board has had a chance to review.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The state has basically made some changes that we needed to adjust in our poverty exemption policy. And so, as the supervisor mentioned, I worked with Mitch Elrod from AAS, who is our main assessor here, the head of the team here. And he has been an incredible help. I'm so thankful for that relationship and for them being part of our team. It's really been refreshing. So basically, because of some of the changes with the state, we needed to to rework our program so that it had more specific numbers when it came to qualification. We will be audited next year, and with our current policy, we would have had some audit issues with the state. So we can kind of breeze through this, but so just to give you guys the next one up, actually, yeah, so here, just to give you an idea of the changes that were made, the liquid asset amount, we've set at $10,000, it was at $7,500, and so if somebody has that or more, it says that they probably can pay their taxes without some help, and a total asset limit of $25,000, so those were very specific, or those had to be specifically called out for the state's program. The other thing that we did, I think it'll be the next slide, Chris, we had to, right here, we had to go to we went to a tailored system, and this basically gives our board of review a little more leeway. The prior policy was a 100% exemption if somebody met the poverty guidelines, but because of various circumstances that come up in front of the board, they were kind of, tied to, they didn't have a choice. It was either all or nothing. This gives them the flexibility to award a 25, 50, 75, or 100% exemption. We did give them some guidelines that we'd like considered when they make that decision, but it would be up to the board of review to make that decision, and those guidelines were also in the board's packet. So all of this on our side, it does create a little bit, better transparency for the residents, and the preparation documentation is going to be cleaner with these solid numbers put in place. And you guys probably reviewed this, so we don't need, this was part of the packet. You guys, If anybody has questions, happy to talk about it. But right now, we did used to use HUD guidelines for poverty. We've switched to HHS, which, and we offer, or our poverty exemption is set at 2 times the poverty level based on, our residents, and that adjustment makes sense. And that is also in the packet, but it's at 30. There you go. So 31,300 is household minimum. With that, so those are the new requirements if this is approved this evening. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you for that overview and your work on this. I'd entertain a motion at this time, and then we can have other questions or comments.
I'll make the motion. I move to adopt the resolution to adopt a policy relative to the review and granting of poverty exemptions by the Charter Township of the Orion Board of Review as presented and attached, which establishes eligibility requirements, income and asset limits, annual review procedures, and public availability of poverty exemption policies in accordance with Public Act 253 of 2020 and MCL 211.7U.
Support.
Ordered by Carson. All right, any other comments or questions? Did you say you had one?
No, when you zoomed it out,
Oh, sorry. I just want to, again, thank you, Matt and Mitch from AAS for, we needed to update, and that's all I have to say. Thank you. It's a lot of work. Any public comment on this? Seeing no one rush forward, we will entertain a roll call vote.
Barnett?
Yes.
Dalrymple, yes. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Carson?
Yes.
Lovett?
Yes.
Hilgendorf?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Next item is our first reading of ordinance 95. That's our peddlers and solicitors regulation, and this is a proposed amendment. I will turn this over to our clerk.
Thank you. So in looking through some of the ordinances and seeing what goes with what, we did notice some inconsistencies in our application compared to what our ordinance states. So as you can see, there's a section of Section 4, which is the license application process, Section 5, which is the license fee, Section 8, which is the hours of operation. So what we're trying to do, or what we want to do, is just to update this so that all of those things match. There was a question about the hours of operation, which is on there, which, like I said, our application said one thing and the ordinance had something different. Where the things went to, that also needed a quick tweak, how it said supervisor instead of the clerk's office. And then the other question was about insurance. So currently on the application itself, it asks you for very specific insurance information. I sat down with Lieutenant Weir and went through a couple of those items, and so we determined that the information we were asking for didn't necessarily need to be that specific. The Kelly firm also gave guidance on these updates as well, so we are just looking to kind of clean this ordinance back up.
And I will highlight, because this is something that the clerk did a great job on. If you want to knock on someone's door and sell them something, if you're doing it for religious or political purposes, those are protected under the Constitution. But if you're trying to sell them something, you have to get approval to do that. And where is it at?
Just click on that township clerk tab.
Okay. Township clerk, I thought there used to be a little.
There should be.
And then when you do that, we didn't practice this. Oh, thank you, you're right.
Oh, there you go. Then
Should be over here, peddlers and solicitors, and then you click on that. And these are the only people that are allowed to knock on your door and sell you something. And our part of our ordinance requires them to get a background check, their photo, and they get a badge. And it looks very similar to.
It will look very similar to that once this process is complete, yes.
But anyway, if you have someone besides Roof Shampoo, Keller Williams, or Baldwin Mobile Cafe, or now Power Home Remodeling knocking on your door, you can call the non-emergency police number, 248-858-4911, and just our sheriff's deputies will come visit them and tell them the rules of the road in Orion Township. Thank you for that, and for that clunky commercial. We should have the Hydro Dragons do that next time. Is there a motion to approve the first, or declare the first reading held?
We need to,
Yeah, is there a motion? Sorry.
If I may, board action would be to approve the first reading of the text amendments to the following sections of the Charter Township of Orion Municipal Code ordinances. Section 4, license application process. Section 5, license. Section 6, license fee. And Section 8, hours of operation. And direct the township clerk to publish said ordinance in accordance with state law, and hereby set the second reading of said ordinance for March 2nd, 2026.
Support.
Pfeiffer and supported by Carson. Any other comments or questions from board members? Ms. Hilgendorf.
Question for our attorney. In section 6A, where the fee is mentioned, is it preferred or required to explicitly state the dollar amount of the fee as opposed to saying something like, in effect at the time of application?
Generally, it's my understanding that the fee schedule is set by resolution of the board. And that would be the case, I believe, for this ordinance as well, and that's perfectly allowable.
It had been $35 since its inception in 1997.
Well, I think what Ms. Hilgendorf was saying was that instead of having it in here, to have it in our schedule of fees so that in 10 years from now, when we change it to $65, we don't have to do a first and second reading.
You can do it either way, and if it's the board's pleasure to make that change, if you do want to say that the fee would be adopted by resolution, it's a good point, trustee Hilgendorf. That's a change that's minor enough to be made in between first and second reading, so you would still be able to proceed with your first reading tonight.
Not a bad idea. I like that because we have had that in other ordinances where that's the only thing we wanted to change, and to do a first and second reading and pay to publish it, which is costly. So I'm open to that. Would we need a motion, or we can just talk about that? We can just propose that at the second reading because it's a minor in nature.
You can propose it at second reading because
Okay.
it's minor in nature, and the ordinance that will actually be published in the paper will include that change.
Okay. That's a good catch, and I agree with that. Thank you. That's section 6A. Okay, thank you for that. Good point. Any other comments or questions from board members? Any public comment?
Hello, I'll state my name for the record again, Roman Gasky. I just wanted to briefly speak in support of this ordinance. First of all, in regards to the licensure question, this is a clerical task, and speaking from personal experience, Clerk Dalrymple was my intro to business teacher many or not so many years ago. And so she is capable of handling a lot of things, so I'm sure she'll be able to handle that. And also in terms of the fee raise, I know people can get upset when things get more expensive, but if you look at the numbers here from 1997 to 2026, the rate of inflation has been 95%. This is only a 43% increase, and I'm sure as the board knows, local governments are hit by inflation just as much as consumers, and with these new fees that they have to pay, for instance, for this changes to these precincts, you can see that they're facing cost pressures. So I think it's a reasonable change, and I want to speak in support of the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Seeing none, I will ask Clerk Schultz to call the roll.
So many times. But I would love to call the roll. Pfeiffer.
Clerk Dalrymple, oh my
Love
gosh.
it.
Yes.
Dalrymple, yes. Barnett.
Yes.
And Hilgendorf.
Yes.
I apologize, 12 years of saying that, and when I'm doing this and when I'm trying to look up the next item, I am so sorry. That's, as you can tell, 12 years of unprogramming. My daughters, I call them the wrong names too, so my apologies. Next item is an added item, item 10C, Pareto captive agreement. So the request is to approve the Legends holding, and this is at your place, and it was emailed earlier. And the reason it's coming to us is it came to us last Wednesday that we need to sign this agreement. We had asked if we could push it to next meeting, but we have to have this submitted to for our health insurance by the 27th of this month, so we can't wait till next meeting. We moved to a self-insured health insurance model. The board has been updated on that. Under this model, we're enrolling in a group captive that sits behind our stop-loss insurance. And to try to make it more simple, we are a member of the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Association for our property and liability insurance. So for when we have floods and when we have issues and when we have car crashes, that is a pooled insurance for property and liability. This is the same thing for health insurance. Programs managed by Pareto Captive. We did have the township attorney review the agreements. It's attached in your email earlier. It's 168 pages. Don't anticipate any of you had a chance to read that. But it includes all the things that are listed here. The attorney found the agreements are consistent with standard commercial captive arrangements. And with the signed agreement, the township's required to contribute our $37,130 as capital to our binding coverage, and that was all part of the formulation of our insurance costs. So that was known for the last couple months. So that is what's in front of you tonight. I'd entertain a motion. And I'm sorry, Clerk Dalrymple. I will hope to say it never happens again. Mr. Pfeiffer.
I move to approve the Legend Holdings LLC subscription documents that authorize the township supervisor and clerk to execute the documents and any ancillary or substantially similar programs necessary to implement the township's participation in the program, and authorize the capital contribution in the amount not to exceed $37,130.
Moved by Pfeiffer and supported by Hilgendorf. Are there any questions of me or our attorney?
Yeah, I'm just uncomfortable getting the document this late. I mean, it was at 6 o'clock, and now we're voting on it. I mean, we trust you, but like, as us for voting purposes, like, we're responsible for what's in this document, and we really didn't have time to review it, so.
Yeah, I'll just shed a little bit of light on that. We had a meeting with them today at 3 p.m. To discuss this. And as soon as we were done, I was in meetings from 8 a.m. until now, nonstop. We sent it out as soon as Sam and I had a few minutes. There's no, I guess I won't speak for Brittany, but there are, like, our closest community to us that's on the same agreement is Clinton Township, so we've spoke extensively with them. It's a standard agreement. One of the questions we asked today is, are we able to make any tweaks to the agreement? And every single member is on the exact same agreement. So I don't know if you want to speak to that. We don't like doing walk-up agreements, but I also don't want to pay $1,200, which is what it costs us to hold a special meeting. But it could, if it's the board's pleasure, that is an option. If people aren't comfortable approving this tonight, we could not take action tonight, schedule a special meeting. It just has to be before the 27th. And literally, we got, as soon as we got the documents, we're acting on it. So, do you want to add anything to that, Ms. Ellis?
I would just mirror that Pareto did put in writing that we were not able to make any changes to the agreements if we requested them, that all members are required to accept the same agreements. And part of the reason why I'll take credit, part of the reason this is coming to you late is because there was a confidentiality clause that I wanted to confirm with Pareto, that we wouldn't be violating that, or there wouldn't be any issues if it was in the packet tonight. I did not get an answer from Pareto until late this afternoon to clear it to come before you.
So we agree. This is a habit we have gotten a lot better at. We used to have 1 or 2 items every meeting. Ms. Dalrymple's done a great job helping organize the office to prevent that from happening, but once in a while, these things happen. So, just, go ahead, Matt.
I agree, this would not be a good thing in practice to have items come up, this close to a meeting without time for full review. So yes, as a practice, I would hope we all agree that that's not a practice that we want to be regular. That being said, I've been in, I don't know how many meetings regarding healthcare since this has all gone through. This is part of the package that we've agreed to. We are in it, we are members, and without this, the program doesn't work. So while I understand the frustration, I support moving forward with the vote, and
Yeah, and just last thing on that, you know, changing insurance isn't easy. We've been working on this since November, literally. I mean, I don't want to under-exaggerate, hundreds of hours have been put in between our office and other offices. And staff has been really gracious in the whole transition. When I got this whenever I got it on Friday or whatever, I initially just went to e-sign the document because I thought it was already all approved, and I asked our chief of staff, has the board approved me signing this? Because I get approval from the board to sign this. The board has approved the switch to the insurance company, but not this specific agreement. That's why I wanted to put it in front of the board, and we were waiting for that legal review. So totally noted, Mr. Lovett. It's not a practice we want to be in the habit of, but I don't think there are any surprises in this. You know, this isn't like a purchase last minute that we have 160. This is something we've been talking about since November. So, but great points. Are there any other comments or questions? Any public comment? So at time, the motion is to approve the agreement and authorize me to sign it. If it doesn't fail, we could, or if it's not approved, obviously, and people aren't comfortable doing it tonight, we could approve an alternative motion to require a special meeting. But I want to make sure everyone knows it has to be signed by the 27th. All right. Let's do, all in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Thank you, everyone. Next, our reports. We have 4 tonight. First, it's the police and fire report.
Move to receive and file the police and fire reports as presented.
Support.
Moved by Hilgendorf and supported by Lovett. Any comments or questions? Do we want to pick on the battalion chief back there or let him off the hook tonight? These are available on our website, also in the Lake Orion Review often. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next is the Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals 2025 annual reports. Ms. Dalrymple, is your hand up?
Oh, it can be. I'll make a motion to approve or to receive and file the Planning Commission and the ZBA report with comment.
Support.
Okay. Moved by Dalrymple and supported by Pfeiffer. Go ahead with your comments.
I find all of this fantastic reading. I think it's so interesting to see everything that's happening in our community, and I love how it's all laid out to see what's going on, how many things have been done. Every time I see this report, I'm excited to read it.
Yes.
Look at all these amazing projects.
You can
going on.
see everything. I mean, this is
Anything
detailed.
you want to know.
And this is available on our website. This is very granular, even more than the report we saw a month or so ago. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next is our planning and zoning report for January, page 201.
I'll make a motion to receive and file the planning and zoning report for January. Another great read.
Support.
All right. Moved by Dalrymple, supported by Carson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And last but not least, that motion passed 6-0, is the financial statements, I'm sorry.
Move to receive and file the balance sheets, income statements, and manual journal entries as presented.
Support.
Moved by Hilgendorf, supported by Carson. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to public comment. Item 12. Is there any additional public comment tonight? No one coming forward. We will close that and bring it up here to board member comment. Mr. Carson, we'll start with you tonight.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Hope they're not recording this. To you.
Well, happy birthday, Carrie. I want to just thank everyone again for the support. I know it's been a couple weeks since that fundraiser. It's just, I'm still overwhelmed by the way the community showed up. I've got an update. My surgery is scheduled for March 13th, so appreciate continued prayers. Oh, and I saw the Hydro Dragons. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I hope they do get some flamethrowers. Congratulations to Megan on the Citizen of the Month, and then a big thank you to Renee for her 30 years of service.
Yes. Thank you. Miss Birthday Girl.
Don't really have much of anything, just, I guess, best wishes in advance for a speedy recovery.
Thank you. Miss Dalrymple, never again.
Congratulations to the Hydro Dragons. It's always so nice to have students here in the building. We say all the time how nice it is to have the young people come in, and I know that we're working on some other projects with them, and it's not very often that I get two former students in the room at one time, so, and thank you for your kind words, Roman. Just a quick update on the food truck. I know that for the last month, the temperatures have been bitterly cold outside, so there have been a couple comments on the Facebook post about just that it being so cold. You have to remember that when the volunteers are outside, we're outside for about 2 hours consecutively without being able to go in and take a break. So even if we had gloves on and snow boots and snow pants and all of those things, it's still bitterly cold out there. So just bear with us. I post every time where you can find another pantry, how else you can get into the walk-in pantry at the village. So I know it's hard for everybody to go to different places and do different things, but we also have to really worry about the safety of all the volunteers that come out there. So just remember that. And hopefully this will be the end of that, and we'll be out there every week from now through the rest of the summer. And then just a really big thank you to Renee. Like you said, the seniors love her. You always know that. And to have 30 years of beautiful service here in Orion Township, we can't thank her anymore for that.
Thank you. Mr. Pfeiffer.
Well, I think the comments are going to have a lot of redundancy tonight, but they kind of have to. So, yeah, we'll tag on the Hydro Dragons. That was super cool. Super cool. And they were out and helped us at the Forgotten Harvest food truck, which it's really great to see kids being raised to be a part of the community and to give back, as well as to be driven in their passion. So that was awesome. And to Renee, 30 years is crazy and awesome, and we've been so lucky to have her. And every time I go to the senior area and she's around, they love her. I mean, they really do. It's going to be a big loss over there, but I'm very happy for her to get to enjoy her retirement, well earned. Happy birthday to our fellow board member, Miss Carey, and happy. Hopefully now you can legally go out and get a drink, and it'll be good to go there. And a follow-up on the food truck, I commented, I had seen those posts, and, you know, it's all volunteer, and most of the volunteers are seniors. So if you are somebody who wants to give back to the community, even if you are somebody who's receiving food, in fact, a lot of our volunteers are people who also receive food, come join us. You know, we have to cancel sometimes because because of the cold and because we have a lot of seniors, but we could always use more help, especially in the winter. And we would welcome your help if you would like to join. And then the last, but not least, my team did, as they always do, did an incredible job in the Treasury Department. Today was the final day of winter tax collection, at least without penalty. And man, they work hard. They don't stop, and I try to help them and probably slow it more than anything sometimes when the counter's busy, but it's really cool to see such a well-oiled machine. I feel very blessed to have such a dedicated team of true professionals in our department, and thank all the people who came in to pay in person, especially the large majority of them that were just extremely friendly, happy, and polite to our team as they executed their duties. So, yeah, thank you to anybody who came out in person, and thank you to the Treasury team.
Thank you, Mr. Pfeiffer. Mr. Lovett.
Happy birthday, Ms. Hilgendorf, and speedy recovery, John, when you get that surgery. I've been texting with my neighbor Mike Flood a little bit, and I miss the guy. the smell of the hand-rolled cigarettes. But other than that, I mean, the weather is changing, so please be safe on the ice. Although the sheriff has a lot of resources to save people, we'd rather not see them get used. So be really diligent on the ice and notice where the soft spots are, or just stay off completely if we continue to get these warm temperatures. Other than that, do something kind for a neighbor.
Never heard that one before. Yeah, so thank you all. First and foremost, thanks to our team and my team of directors, the best team in the business, and then my fellow officers, Clerk Dalrymple and Treasurer Pfeiffer. Is the last couple meetings I've been in D.C., which is an interesting place these days. But we have a great team. I have another one coming up that I will be again gone on work-related business. So thank you all for holding down the fort, but I'm always reachable and love watching you guys do this better than me. So thank you for that. And yeah, I mean, to see the community come out, I mean, go to our township Facebook page. We started a new series called Our Orion, where we're highlighting our brightest and best, which we are doing a great job. One of those, I'm trying to put it over on the screen if it will work. I don't know. Let's see. We got a couple so far talking about our heroes, because on April 30th is our State of the Township address, and it's Heroes Live Here. But we highlighted, as you already mentioned, the one and only Mike Flood was, I think, one of our first honorees, just talking about his commitment to our community. And then we have congratulations to Coach Andy Schrammick, Lake Orion High School baseball coach, who was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is pretty awesome. So those are some cool things happening. Also at your place tonight, talking about amazing people in our community, we got a thank you note from Ellie Gingell Olson, thanking the township and the entire community for just remembering the history of our community with Heritage Park, which has been pretty awesome. So to the team members that made that happen, you definitely made an impact, not only on this family who's been here for a long, long time, but also preserving the history of our community. Maybe not as fun, but also, but maybe more important are some of the work just I wanted to highlight behind the scenes that's happened at the rec center. We closed so that we could change our domestic water service, our hot water. And while we did that, our amazing team, look at they're even mostly smiling, did a cleanup day, a deep clean of the whole facility, fixing things and doing lots of projects that needed to be done behind the scenes. So because we have a facility that's open every day, there's not a lot of time to do these things. So thanks to our staff for doing that. Just mentioned I was in D.C. a couple times. I was elected as I think some of you know, the president-elect of the National Association of Regional Councils, which is a high honor for me, grateful for that. Had a chance to meet with some great people, including, you can see here, I hosted a panel with the Assistant Secretary of Commerce. We had meetings on the Hill with representatives from both parties, talking about the priorities and the importance of local control and funding of the projects that we need funded. But thank you to, again, the rest of the board and the staff for allowing me to do these types of things. I promise you it will pay dividends to the township. It's not just for me. And then wanted to mention the township, State of the Township address will be April 30th. I don't have a slide for that. But one of the things we are launching officially today, and you'll hear a lot about this coming forward. I'm so happy that our friends from the Lake Orion Review are here. But we have banners on Baldwin Road as part of our streetscape project. And this year, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, this is going to be our Hometown Heroes recognition. So if you would like to do two great things. Support a hometown hero, so that could be a veteran, a current member of our community in the line of service, or a first responder. You can sponsor a banner for $100. And 100% of those proceeds go to the Veterans Memorial, which is another organization that we partner closely with. There's a form that's on the screen right now, and it will be on our website tomorrow, and it will be shared on social media and shared around town. Great opportunity to support someone that you know that's in the fire service or something. They get to have their banner up from Memorial Day to Labor Day on our corridor, and then you get to get the banner when it's done, if it's still in good shape. So we're expecting a high response to this, so get in early, because I think there are about 200 light poles roughly out there that can take one of these. So do something kind for a neighbor. There's something you could do right there. And I think that is all I have for tonight. I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:15. Love it?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Carson. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned, 8:15.